After 8, the office turns into a glass aquarium, and Seattle becomes a smear of lights behind my reflection. I'm the last one at my pod, sweatshirt over a white shirt, cursor blinking on the plan selection screen like it's daring me to fix the drop-off. The vents hum a fake wind. I coil my hair into a low clip and tell myself it's just a screen, not a referendum on my entire life. Still here? Eve's voice is soft. Elevator chime soft. I recognize the citrus and cedar before I turn. She steps into my monitor glow, navy blazer open, cream blouse catching blue light. Her watch looks inherited. Her gaze looks intentional. 2 more pixels and world peace, I say. Local peace would be fine, she says, rolling the spare chair next to mine until our armrests hover a breath apart. We lean toward the same UI, our reflections layered in the window. Copies bargaining with design, she says. Promise less here, deliver more later. Her finger traces the subheader, close enough that I feel the nearness before I feel the air move. The computer fan ramps like a tide. I match my breathing to it so I don't think about her sleeve brushing my elbow. She reaches for my trackpad. I don't move my hand fast enough. Her palm covers the back of mine, guiding 2 fingers into a gentle pinch zoom. It's purely practical, and a second too long. Heat rises under my skin like a bad secret that's actually good. When she lifts her hand, my own feels light, like it's lost a paperweight. You ever get lonely here? I say, not planning to. The question sits between us like a cup you place carefully so it doesn't rattle. Eve turns from the screen to my face. Less lonely than elsewhere, she says, and I feel something click like a slide finally finding the right groove. Rain begins as a rumor against the glass. We migrate to the kitchen and pull a single unchipped mug because the second one looks like it has a story. The machine sighs out thin coffee. We watch it fill as if attention could thicken it. Her lipstick leaves a quiet mark on the rim. I don't avoid it when I drink. The coffee tastes like permission, bitter and warm enough to count. Back at the desk, the distance between our chairs stops pretending to be professional. Knees find the border under the table and hover there. The wall clock says 9:34 in LED honesty. We could finish this tomorrow, she says. We could, I answer. Neither of us mentions the elevator. We work anyway. Copy simplifies. Less bravado, more welcome. Error states stop scolding and start helping. When our fingers brush again on the trackpad, neither of us apologizes. It's nothing. It's everything. Outside, the rain graduates to a steady rhythm, stitching the floor into a cocoon. A piece of my hair slips free. Eve tucks it behind my ear with slow precision like she's measuring the room in millimeters. Her fingertips graze the top of my cheek. It's a small, exact voltage. I look at her mouth and then her eyes because self-control deserves a cameo. Maya, she says, very gently, like a question that already knows the answer. I turn the fraction she doesn't make me finish. The kiss lands careful and certain. No rush, no performative heat, just a deliberate connection that redraws the room, coffee and breath and something bright. My hand finds her wrist and feels a pulse steady enough to make me steadier. We pause with our foreheads touching, as if the night needs our patience to keep working. If we keep going, she murmurs, I won't want to make this tidy later. It sounds like a warning and a confession. I don't need tidy, I whisper. I need true. The elevator dings far away like a memory. We don't move. The screens dim themselves, painting us with slow ocean light. We don't label it. We sit with our knees touching under the desk, her thumb tracing a small circle in my hand, my breath sinking to hers. The office becomes a blue cave that holds the shape of what we're saying without words. Outside, taillights drag red lines down Pine. It feels like the city is letting us borrow a private room. I arrive early. The mug with her lipstick crescent waits on her desk like a souvenir that didn't ask permission. Eve walks in a minute later, hair damp from the rain, blazer over her arm. Coffee? she says, casual, like we have always been this version of us. 1 cup, I answer, and she smiles like a contract we won't print. By noon, the floor is loud again. Road maps, jokes, Slack pings. Nothing external is different, which makes everything internal ring louder. Eve leans over my monitor to point at the revised subheader. Same gesture as last night. New gravity. After stand-up, she sends, less lonely than elsewhere still stands. I reply, it does. On Friday, the clouds break, and Seattle does that crisp after rain performance. We work later than we need to, and don't call it a plan. Around 8, most of the floor unplugs and the aquarium returns to us. Eve props my keyboard under the monitor to fix the angle, the kind of tiny care I feel hours later. The second kiss holds longer. Hands stay mapped to simple places. Wrist, shoulder, the line of a jaw. We don't rush the heat, we let it arrive like weather, leave like weather. I taste mint and patience and something like relief. She whispers my name like she's trying how it feels in a room that finally deserves it. I whisper hers back and mean it. We walk the stairwell for air. It smells like dust and metal, and someone else's perfume from another time. You're not from here, she says. Ohio, I answer. Thought so. She smiles. The way you work. As if the place needs a reason to keep you. It hits accurate enough to ache. On the landing we stop, and she takes both my hands. Simple, interlaced. It's astonishing how much honesty fits in a grip. The week behaves like weeks do. Tickets balloon if unpruned. User interviews sharpen choices. A bug acts like a rumor. We ship the new copy. The cliff becomes a slope. We celebrate with seltzers that taste like fruit that changed its mind. In the pockets. Printer jam, deploy, wait. We check in with the smallest lines. You okay? Now I am. On Saturday it rains with conviction again. We meet at a museum where silence is encouraged and everyone stares at color, pretending not to feel a lot. Eve brings an umbrella the size of a good decision. In a nearly empty wing she asks, "What do you see?" "Composition," I say. Proof that restraint can be generous. She looks at me instead of the painting. "That's last week," she says. Monday night again. The aquarium belongs to us. We kiss once, twice, spaced like commas in the same sentence. I memorize a small freckle near her jaw. I somehow missed all this time. She traces the gold chain at my collarbone. Thoughtful, not possessive. We talk about everything but labels, her sister's new dog, the feature we'd build if the roadmap ever respected us, the cafe with decent beans and terrible chairs. I don't know the shape, she says, sitting cross-legged in the spare chair, like the meeting is only for us. But I know I'll regret not paying attention. The fluorescents above us hum in agreement. Me too, I say. I don't want performance, I just want after 8 to mean what it means. It already does, she answers, and I believe her. We let the heat be careful. My hand under her blazer at the shoulder, warm fabric, warmer skin, her palm at the base of my neck, grounding, not claiming. No rush to cross thresholds. We treat closeness like a craft. The breath between us goes unpolished and perfect. If someone filmed it, the notes would say, "Hold longer on hands, let the rain be the percussion." Days resume their old shapes, but with a baseline we didn't have before. People still forget to mute. The coffee machine still lies about rich flavor unless we intervene. Eve's laugh is still rare and quiet, but now I know exactly what joke unlocks it. When we pass in the corridor with teammates around, we trade the smallest look that says later without promising more than we mean. We leave together without making it a headline. The lobby smells like elevator oil and wet umbrellas. Outside, Pine Street is slick and reflective. The bakery on the corner stacks its last tray of croissants like artifacts behind glass. Real food tomorrow, she says. Hold me to it. I will, I say, and the promise sits light but true. At my building's awning, we pause under the drip. We kiss like we did the second time, longer than polite, shorter than reckless. Her hands bracket my waist like parentheses that make the sentence read better. When we part, the world remains undramatic, and that somehow is the drama I wanted. Morning. A text from a number that isn't anonymous anymore. Running late. Bring better beans? I do. We brew in the kitchen like it's a lab. The mug catches the same lipstick crescent, which by now feels like a small flag planted on friendly ground. We don't over-explain. We don't underfeel. We go back to our desks and work the way people work when they like their jobs and the person 2 chairs over. A customer interview tells us something we didn't expect. We pull the whiteboard into the aisle like we own the aisle. She sketches boxes. I thread language through them. A smudge lands on her wrist. I wipe it with my thumb without thinking. She doesn't flinch. The world does not end. It gets more detailed. Later, we wait for the elevator with the quiet that belongs to nights after 9. She covers my hand with both of hers. Thumbs crossing, a small deliberate pattern that I feel hours later. The doors open onto our reflected faces. We step in, and it feels like we've decided enough for one day. Less lonely than elsewhere, she says in the elevator, almost smiling. Still stands? Still stands, I answer. It's not a brand. It's a baseline. The door opens on our floor, and we don't let go until movement requires it. Seattle stages a rare sun, and everybody acts like they earned it personally. We take lunch on the steps behind the building, backs to concrete, warm to almost comfort. She sits close enough that our shoulders share heat. I tell her about Ohio in winter, how the air bites. She tells me about a childhood summer in New Mexico, where the sky was too big to behave. We keep the stories small and true. I leave a sticky note on her monitor. You're right about promising less. She leaves a note on mine. You're right about saying it like a human. We are an unannounced care package in each other's day. Coffee, a charger, a sentence trimmed to kindness. None of it is a secret. All of it is private. Back at our pods, close to 10, I rest my head briefly against her shoulder, not long enough to say more than I mean, long enough to say exactly what I mean. She turns her face into my hair and inhales the way you do when you're cataloging a detail you intend to remember. You okay? She asks. Now I am. I answer, and the exchange is a fuse that warms instead of burning. We don't post. We don't declare. We don't quiz the future like it owes us a syllabus. We don't use each other to dodge loneliness. We use what we have to make room for the kind that ends. We don't get sloppy with secrets. We get precise with time. The office is an aquarium one more night, and I feel the city watching kindly from its glass. We sit close, not pretending not to. We kiss with the patience of people who know this isn't a countdown. Hands stay mapped to safe, sure places. Jawline, shoulder, the curve where neck meets collar. We choose the same silence because it says exactly enough. And when we finally stand, power down, and step into the corridor, I understand the simplest version of the truth. This is not tidy, and it is absolutely real.